The Young and the Restless, YNR, spoilers for Monday, November 24th, reveal that Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, toast will derail the wedding reception, so Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, will get dragged into more drama. Following Christine Romalotti, Laura Lee Bell, and Danny Romalotti's Michael Damian marriage ceremony, they'll have a fun reception with all their guests. There'll be plenty of toasts to the blissful couple as they look forward to this exciting new chapter. Phyllis has already been hovering around the festivities, but she'll insert herself in the middle of the action on Monday's episode. Once part 2 of the wedding event gets underway, Phyllis will enter with Kane and see the perfect opportunity to make a scene. Phyllis will grab a glass of bubbly and pipe up about wanting to make a toast. Kane will be standing next to Phyllis as she steals the spotlight, which could leave Christine and Danny fuming at first. However, Phyllis might prove she can be civil when she wants to be, and extend some well wishes to the newlyweds in the end. Even if Phyllis causes a fuss and isn't all that sincere, it'll be a win if she doesn't totally ruin the vibe. Kane may be amused with Phyllis's behavior in the end, and could perhaps praise her for showing some restraint instead of bashing the bride. It's no secret that Christine is Phyllis's worst enemy, but Phyllis may hold back during this toast on Monday's YNR episode and leave everyone fairly relieved. At some point, Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, Tracy E. Bregman, may get updates on Esther Valentine, Kate Linder, sending Christine the mums that caused her allergic reaction. That could lead to Lauren apologizing to Phyllis for thinking the worst and jumping to conclusions about the flowers. It was Esther's inadvertent blunder rather than a deliberate act of sabotage, so Lauren may acknowledge that and let Phyllis know she's sorry. As for Daniel Romalotti Jr., Michael Graziadei, and Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, their musical performance should move forward and add to the flying sparks between them. Will Tessa and Daniel let passion erupt once that performance is over? The Young and the Restless spoilers say temptation will definitely escalate and could lead to some sizzling, so stick with us for more romance-related news. The big day has arrived. Christine Blair, Laura Lee Bell, and Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, are officially married, and the second part of their wedding celebration is set to bring joy, laughter, and unexpected drama. While the ceremony itself seems to go off without major incident, the reception promises to be anything but peaceful, all because of one very pointed toast. Enter Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, who has been hovering around the festivities all evening, eyeing her moment to step in. And step in she does. As the guests settle into the reception hall, the mood is festive and warm. There are familiar faces returning to Genoa City, including Nina Webster, Trisha Cast, and Gina Roma, Patty Weaver, adding a touch of nostalgia to the event. Daily Soap Dish +2 Celeb Dirty Laundry +2 Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, Tracy E. Bregman, is on hand, having helped orchestrate much of the celebration, and there's genuine goodwill in the air until Phyllis makes her move. Phyllis, accompanied by Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, quietly slips in during the reception. Though her presence draws a few raised eyebrows, she seems composed, at least at first. It's clear she's been watching, waiting. When the moment comes, Phyllis picks up a flute of champagne and confidently raises it in a toast. Kane stands beside her, perhaps a little amused, or maybe complicit, as she clears her throat, drawing attention from the newlyweds and all their guests. She begins with a few well-chosen words, acknowledging Danny and Christine, celebrating their second chance and offering well wishes for their future. On the surface, it sounds gracious, even sincere. But under that polite veneer, there's something sharper, a hint of rivalry, a reminder of Phyllis's complicated history with Christine. Phyllis has never truly liked Christine, cricket, being a part of Danny's life, and while she claims to have made peace, her toast carries undertones that make anyone paying close attention certainly uncomfortable. Celeb Dirty Laundry +2 Celeb Dirty Laundry +2. For Christine and Danny, the initial reaction is a mix of relief and tension. They exchange wary glances, relief that Phyllis is offering something resembling goodwill, but also unease, because they both know that Phyllis's generosity rarely comes without strings. Phyllis is not exactly known for hiding her feelings, and the guests sense it too. There's an undercurrent to her words that raises the hairs on the back of people's necks. As the toast continues, Phyllis subtly acknowledges the couple's journey, their commitment, and the obstacles they've overcome. She praises Christine for her resilience, Danny for his loyalty, and their union for standing the test of time. Yet she punctuates her sincerity with a quiet jab, not overt, but pointed enough to rattle Christine. The well wishes feel almost conditional, as though Phyllis is reminding Christine, and perhaps even Danny, of her own place in this narrative. She's not just a former flame. She's someone who has lived a complicated history with them both. Kane, standing beside her, watches the scene unfold. In some corners, it looks like he is there to support Phyllis, to lend legitimacy to her toast. But in others, there's an air that he's more amused than anything. He may even appreciate that Phyllis is holding back some of her sharper edges, choosing not to bash the bride, as some feared she would. There's a begrudging respect in his expression. Yes, she's making a scene. Yes, there's provocation in her words, but she's also showing some restraint. Celeb dirty laundry. That restraint may save the moment from spiraling out of control. Phyllis doesn't descend into a full-on tirade. She doesn't call Christine out publicly or unleash a bitter rant. Instead, she ends on a note of polite finality. She lifts her glass higher, smiles almost warmly, and closes with a toast to love, renewal, and the bright future she claims to wish them. Some guests visibly exhale, relieved that she didn't go further. Others look on, uncertain. Was this an olive branch or a veiled warning? Behind the scenes of the reception's main event, there are ripples. Lauren, who has been keeping an eye on Phyllis, may now have second thoughts. Earlier in the evening, she's had private reflections on the flower situation, specifically how Esther Valentine's, Kate Linder, gift of mums to Christine triggered an allergic reaction. Celeb dirty laundry rumors suggest Esther didn't intend any harm, and Lauren, realizing this, may apologize to Phyllis for misjudging her. She could admit she jumped to conclusions, that perhaps Phyllis wasn't trying to sabotage after all, but simply acting out of long-held emotional wounds. Phyllis, for her part, might accept Lauren's apology with a nod, not entirely sincere, but not wholly disingenuous either. She might soften just a little, letting the moment pass without a grand exit. Her smile, though measured, carries just enough warmth to suggest she doesn't want to make things too ugly tonight. But even as the tension relaxes, other storylines simmer. Elsewhere in the reception hall, Daniel Romalotti Jr., Michael Graziadei, prepares to perform with Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks. Their musical performance is a centerpiece of the evening. Romantic, hopeful, and full of sparks. The two share a connection that's been building, and as the music begins, their chemistry lights up the room. For Daniel, this isn't just a performance, it's a declaration of something deeper. For Tessa, it's an opportunity to lean into her feelings, to let her guard down. The audience around them is entranced. Friends and family sway, some hold hands, others simply watch quietly, moved by the sincerity of the moment. It's a beautiful counterpoint to Phyllis's toast, a reminder of what the wedding is truly about: love, second chances, and honest connections. Yet even amid this beauty, tension lingers. Christine may feel momentarily vulnerable, as though Phyllis has punctured the bubble of her perfect evening. Danny, ever the peacemaker, might reach out to her, offering reassurance with a touch or a whispered word. They may need a moment alone, away from the crowd, to remind each other of why they said, "I do," in the first place. Phyllis, meanwhile, watches from the side. Her expression is a study in complexity, a mix of defiance, yearning, maybe even regret. She's made her toast, she's stirred the pot, but she hasn't torn down the house. Whether that's intentional or just a better calculated move remains to be seen, but it's clear she's not done yet. Lauren quietly approaches Phyllis after the toast. The air between them is tentative. Lauren expresses her regret for misinterpreting Phyllis's actions earlier, especially regarding the flowers. She admits she was too quick to assume the worst. Phyllis listens, and in a rare moment, she seems almost touched. She softens, nods, and gives Lauren a brief, sincere thank you. It's not a full reconciliation, but it's not a dismissal either. For a moment, the two women, often adversaries, share genuine understanding. As the reception continues, the focus shifts back to Daniel and Tessa. Their song ends, and there's applause, warm, heartfelt, and genuine. The guests cheer, some even stand to give them a standing ovation. It's a high note, emotionally resonant, and exactly the kind of moment Danny and Christine hoped to create, a new beginning framed by family, friends, and love. Yet, drama in Genoa City never sleeps. Phyllis's subtle disruption, her poised but provocative toast, may leave lingering effects. Christine might replay her words in her mind, wondering if Phyllis's well wishes were truly heartfelt or a veiled threat. Danny might worry that Phyllis's presence, even if restrained, will continue to loom over their happiness. Meanwhile, Lauren's apology may open doors for further conversations, not just with Phyllis, but perhaps with others who have clashed with her in the past. There's a chance for healing, grudging respect, or at least a truce. But the underlying tension between Phyllis and Christine is far from resolved. And as the music fades, the reception carries on. Laughter, dancing, toasts, and whispered conversations fill the room. The newlyweds steal a quiet moment together, holding hands, eyes locked, reminding each other that tonight is theirs. But in the shadows, Phyllis lingers, her glass half full, her expression unreadable. She's made her move. But what comes next? Analysis and implications. Phyllis's strategy. Phyllis's decision to toast rather than openly attack suggests she's playing a more nuanced game. Rather than outright sabotage, she's navigating her own complicated feelings, perhaps guilt, longing, or a desire to be seen. Her restraint could be a power play, showing that she can engage on Christine's terms, yet still plant seeds of doubt. Kane's role. Kane's presence by Phyllis's side isn't just coincidence. Whether he's there in solidarity, support, or subtle manipulation, his reactions give insight into his evolving relationship with her. He may admire her control in this moment, or he might be nudging her toward more drama later. Lauren and Phyllis. The potential apology from Lauren is significant. It signals a shift in perception and maybe an acknowledgement that not everything Phyllis does is purely malicious. Their uneasy conversation could pave the way for future reconciliation, or at least understanding. Daniel and Tessa. Their performance is more than entertainment. It's a metaphor for growth, expression, and connection. The chemistry and vulnerability they display may foreshadow a deeper romantic arc, especially as Daniel continues to define his place in his father's life and in Genoa City. Christine and Danny's future. The toast injects a note of tension into what should be unalloyed joy. Christine may feel unsettled, questioning how sincere Phyllis is, and whether this is the beginning of a new rivalry or just a temporary disturbance. Danny, meanwhile, must balance his past with Phyllis and his present with Christine, and that could create friction down the road. Long-term drama. This isn't just a wedding day spectacle. Phyllis's toast may have long-term consequences, lingering trust issues, subtle maneuvering, and an emotional war that might continue even after the reception. It sets the stage for more confrontations, possibly involving other Genoa City players who have history with Phyllis and Christine alike. Bottom line. Monday's episode of The Young and the Restless promises a reception that's elegant on the surface, but edged with conflict. Phyllis Summers delivers a toast that walks the line between gracious and provocation, leaving Christine and Danny and the rest of the guests uncertain how to feel. Meanwhile, Lauren and Daniel's stories add emotional depth, making this not just a wedding celebration, but a turning point in multiple relationships. Whether Phyllis's involvement ultimately enriches or undermines the couple's future remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. In Genoa City, peace is never permanent. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers for the week of April 16th to 20th tease that will total panic in Genoa City. At Victoria's, Amelia Heinley plays Nikki's Melody Thomas Scott, in for a shock when she realizes she killed JT, Thad Luckenbell, instead of just wounding him. Covering up his demise was not how she expected to end this evening. but that's exactly what's going to happen. At Phyllis, Gina Tognoni, urging, the girls' night gang will make a pact. They'll agree to bury JT's body and keep their mouths shut. Nikki was defending Victoria, but Phyllis won't be sure that Paul, Doug Davidson, will buy her claims. She won't think any of them should be tied to this mess, so they'll just cover it up and hope everything works out. Meanwhile, Victor, Eric Braden, will deliver some jaw-dropping news to Nick, Joshua Morrow. He'll have some trouble communicating, but he'll finally help Nick get the picture eventually. Once Nick knows that JT tried to murder Victor, he'll give Paul updates and vow to assist the cops in any way he can. Nick will be livid over what JT did to his father. He'll want to make sure justice is served, and so will Paul. The Young and the Restless spoilers say a massive search will get underway. Phyllis, Sharon case. Nikki and Victoria had better make sure JT's body is truly hidden. If they get sloppy, it could lead to charges and some serious drama. Meanwhile, Jack, Peter Bergman, will score his release from jail. Y&R fans can expect him to confront Kyle, Michael Mueller, soon after. He'll give his son an earful for being in cahoots with Victor and firing valued employees in his absence. It looks like Jack will regain control soon, but Kyle won't give up. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle will make a bold move, so you can bet that Kyle will keep digging at the Abbott mansion as well. Dina's, Marla Adams, got a secret and Kyle would love to be in the loop. At least that's how he feels right now. Kyle could change his tune once he realizes this secret affects him. 2. If the DNA results are accurate, Jack and Kyle aren't blood Abbotts. Whenever that tidbit blows up, it'll rock the Abbott clan in a big way. Finally, Hillary, Miss Hale Morgan, will have a fainting spell. After she causes a scene and disrupts Devon's Brighton James date with Simone Shanika Knowles, Hillary will pass out right in front of him. Is she pregnant, or could this be a trick? Either way, Devon will have some issues to deal with. It sounds like some great scenes are coming up. We'll keep you posted as other Y&R details emerge. Stay tuned to the CBS soap and don't forget to check CDL often for the latest Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, and news. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers tease that Victoria, Amelie Heinley, could be setting herself up for major trouble. On Thursday's Y&R episode, February 15th, Victoria puts a plot against Ashley, Eileen Davidson, in motion and Jack, Peter Bergman, goes along with it. They both have a lot riding on this. Jack doesn't think he can truly repair the damage with Ashley unless she returns to Jabot. He wants his sister working at the family company, and this is his best shot at making it happen. Jack's obviously taking a huge risk here. There's a good chance this scheme will backfire in a big way. Meanwhile, Victoria's desperate to get rid of the competition. Victor, Eric Braden, claims Victoria's future at Newman is secure, but she doesn't seem to believe that. It's probably wise to be wary. Victor certainly had no problem shoving Abby, Melissa Ordway, aside when Victoria wanted back in. If Victor feels Ashley's a better choice for the Newman throne, you'd better believe he'll toss Victoria aside, too. Victor has already given Ash plenty of power at Brash and Sassy, which has always been Victoria's baby. Victoria's understandably feeling threatened, but her actions could put her job on the line. She intends to make Ashley look like a Jabot spy, but can she really get away with it? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Victoria and Jack could face consequences. Victor's not an easy man to fool. Just look at how quickly he picked up on Chelsea's, Melissa Claire Egan, latest scam. Victor worked so fast that he nearly made Chelsea's head spin. She received some threatening texts, and the next thing she knew, Victor was returning all the money she stole. Victor doesn't mess around when his plans are in jeopardy. He believes Ashley's a good fit at Newman, and he definitely doesn't want Jack to get his employee back. Plus, Vic values family loyalty above all else. When he inevitably discovers that Victoria deceived him, things may not work out well for her. Victor will feel like Victoria undermined his authority, which she clearly did. It's easy to imagine Victor kicking Victoria right out of the company. Victoria may be sent packing while Ashley becomes the new top dog. Perhaps Ashley will get Victoria's position and become next in line for Victor's spot. Do you hope Victoria crashes and burns? Does she deserve to go down for her sneaky plan? What about Jack? Will Ashley catch on and make them both pay the price? We'll give you updates as other Young and the Restless news comes in. Stay tuned to YNR, and don't forget to check CDL often for the latest Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, and news. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that each of the big businesses in Genoa City will compete hard in 2018. In addition to the traditional Newman-Abbott battle, Chancellor Industries and the Hamilton Winters Group will vie for money, power, and influence on YNR. Hardcore viewers are very familiar with Victor, Eric Braeden, and Jack, Peter Bergman, incessantly sniping at each other. Their business competition has almost always been the product of a thinly veiled personal agenda. Numerous ill-advised skirmishes have occurred through the years, with no true victor, soapy pun intended, having erased the other. Newman Enterprises is a global conglomerate that has forced its tentacles into every continent on Earth. Jabot grew beyond cosmetics in establishing a business partnership with Fenmore's. While Newman and Jabot aren't comparable, there have been many instances where they battled for desired turf. Victor plays off weaknesses, so he's primed to use Jabot's double distraction. Jack and Ashley Eileen Davidson called a personal truce in order to handle the Dina, Marla Adams, issue as a tandem. Will the mustache use that multi-issue family crisis to go at Jabot both now and later? Jill, Jess Walton, was about to sell Jabot to Jack, who surprisingly met her high asking price for CI. But she rescinded her approval of that deal after learning about Jack's internal power struggle. That meant that Kane's Daniel Goddard, solid efforts as the acting head of the company will continue. Mr. Ashby hired JT, Thad Luckenbill, which should prove to be a positive addition to the executive staff. But Kane has now been forced by Jill to run the company with Billy, Jason Thompson. That's likely to be very problematic. But the younger Mr. Abbott is a go-getter, so he'll surely create a few business splashes this year. JT has insider knowledge about Newman and a personal tie, Victoria, Amelia Heinley, that could be a valuable source of information. Devin Brighton James purchased Merdron from Dina in 2017. That deal put HWG on the map due to the French-based company's diversified business interests in light of the money his grandmother, Catherine Jean Cooper, left him. Devin founded his company, along with Neil Christophe St. John, and then entered the business world with instant potential. That's why Scott's Daniel Hall request for HWG to buy hashtag from Newman is very intriguing. There are suddenly 4 business power players on YNR, instead of the traditional 2, Newman Enterprises and Jabot. The possibilities of triangulated partnerships are compelling when viewed from any angle. No one company has ever been able to bring down Newman. But would its 3 local rivals agree to go at Victor's company simultaneously, or will each entity simply choose to expand its own brand as storylines play out?